Jimmy Kimmel making his big return after being canceled, a mob of black students attacking a group of Republicans on campus just for asking questions, this link between autism and Tylenol and so much more. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe and let's dive right into this video.
Censorship is here.
Jimmy Kimmel.
But doesn't look the way we thought it would.
Off the air indefinitely.
Government censorship is not really what we're seeing here. We're seeing a kind of corporate censorship.
Jimmy Kimmel was suspended by ABC.
They are firing or pausing programs that Donald Trump doesn't like. And already we are 2 late-night television hosts down.
Correct me, you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
I'm gonna let that other video finish, but off the bat, we can't sit here and act like this is something the left hasn't done before or has tried to do or already implemented, like we've discussed before, with literally the Biden administration working in hand with social media companies to ban US civilians for talking about COVID and election interference. Not to mention Trump being kicked off of social media platforms. So let's continue this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, but I do want to make it clear that I don't understand why the left is like, this is a New York Times video, why the left is acting like this is the end all be all and it's the worst thing they've ever seen and I can't believe somebody's doing this when y'all have literally been calling for this.
In car, the head of the FCC goes on Benny Johnson's podcast and starts complaining about Jimmy Kimmel.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC.
Disney, after hearing Brendan Carr's statements on Benny Johnson's podcast, they don't decide to push back. They don't decide to take a stand. They don't decide to protect their talent. They don't decide to be on the side of democracy.
They don't have to protect their talent. Jimmy Kimmel said something regarding to the Charlie Kirk situation that his employers did not like and they fired him. And these companies are saying they acted separate to what Brandon was saying. They acted, solo. They didn't do that because of what FCC said. Now, if you want to believe that, that's another story, but companies are allowed to fire people based off of what they say. Prime example, if you walked into work and you called your boss, hey, I don't like you, you're a straight up B word, you probably would be fired. So he's not immune from being fired, but being on air for 20 years and all the worst things that he said, way worse than what he said about Charlie Kirk, I mean, it's a little fishy, I will admit. It's a little dicey.
Because that's expensive. Instead, they bench Jimmy Kimmel. So the question is, how did we get here? We have to look at Project 2025. There was a chapter called the Federal Communication Commission, and it was authored by Brendan Carr. He enacted some of this idea of the unitary executive theory. It takes away a lot of the checks and balances that the federal government has long had. That's what we're seeing here, is an FCC that pretty much serves at the pleasure of one person, and that person happens to be Donald Trump. The net of this is that the government has something these corporations want, regulatory approval, that it is cheaper for them to silence free speech for shareholder value than it is to protect the speech of different individuals on their platforms. And that's how corporate censorship works. They're not telling you can't say stuff. They're just incentivizing companies not to cut.
But here's the deal. Y'all have been doing this. Like, we can't sit here and act like, oh, Trump and Project 2025. Like, yes, it's in there, but we just went through that video. Y'all have been advocating for stuff like this. And I'm against it off the whole board. I do not like the idea of our government coming in and saying, hey, you shouldn't say this. Now, what I am in favor of, because, I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. But to play devil's advocate, it's like we should live in a society where we decide, what exactly is okay and what's not. I'm all for the feds not controlling what people are saying and what citizens are saying. However, I do want people to keep that same energy, including us, the more, well, at least for my audience, the more independent, middle left, middle right, and right side of the aisle. We need to keep ourselves in check too, because I found this very interesting. And it's that Trump slams ABC for bringing Kimmel back. And what you see right here is an example of a blind spot where there's a lot of right-leaning and even center media that's not covering this story. What bothers me the most is you have a sitting president. Again, I'm not saying I regret my vote for Trump. We're allowed to be critical of these people. So I'm saying that for the people that just act like we can't be critical of someone that we voted for. That's what we should be doing. I'm not a fan of this and him saying this, like Trump slams ABC for bringing Kimmel back. President Donald Trump expressed disapproval of Jimmy Kimmel's reinstatement on ABC, claiming the White House was informed about Kimmel's suspension. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. It's not our role as Trump. I get it. You've been in media, you've been in entertainment, but it's not the government's role or position to mandate what someone is saying. Yes, Jimmy says some wild stuff. I do not like the man. He says a lot of crap. He lies. But it shouldn't be your job to say he should be off the air just because the government controls the airways, when in reality, cable's fading away and we have the internet. And I understand Kimmel's a little bit different. He's on cable. There's stuff with the FCC and there's all that. But even then, personally, I think that's silly too. I do. I think it's silly because just imagine if it did. I was gonna say, just imagine if Trump was kicking YouTubers off of YouTube, but we've seen that with the Biden administration kicking off YouTubers, pressuring social media companies to kick off YouTubers and silence them for talking about certain things. I don't like any of it. I don't. I think it's silly. I think it's stupid. And we shouldn't. If we're for free speech, we're for free speech, point blank, period. But I had to highlight that story because I found it interesting that no one on the right and the center was talking about it. And it's why I use tools like Ground News, because it helps keep me grounded. And it's not just on the web. They have a mobile app as well. That way I can always stay informed with what's going on in the news. And I just feel educated doing so because I'm not missing things. So you can be sure to tap the link below or scan the QR code here on the screen to get involved and save 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the one that I have that unlocks all the cool tools and features that we've gone through in this video. Because I truly think it's important for all of us out there, especially in this day and age in our media landscape, to get our news from a solid place that has all the sources. You can see what the left and right is saying, and it really just puts the power back in your hands. Because like with that story, when Jimmy Kimmel first got fired, we saw a lot of people on the right saying, well, and even me in the beginning, well, they have a right to fire Jimmy and it wasn't Trump, it wasn't the government had nothing to do about it, like what he said was a joke on the air, they're acting independent. But if we're being honest, that kind of was shady. It was shady what the FCC was saying. At that, a sitting president saying, I'm mad at ABC for keeping Kimmel, when they're dealing with the feds as other business deals, And that's why I think the right side and the kind of more center media wasn't really covering the story, because it completely debunks that narrative that a lot of Republicans were pushing.
MAGA supporters invaded our HBCU.
Okay, what's crazy about this is a whole... We're gonna get through the video. I was supposed to be here. Like, I know all the guys that were there, that were tabling, asking people questions. They called me. This is in Tennessee. They literally called me 10 minutes before this whole mob happened. They're like, hey, Amir, can you come through? Like, pull up, we're tabling. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm filming, I'm busy. 5 minutes later, they called me. They're like, it got shut down. It's a shit show here. I just can't, like, I was supposed to be here. That's crazy to me. Yeah, that's Cam Higby.
You called the East primitive for what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything.
It's things like this that make people racist. Just a sea of bricks. Like, what is going on these college campuses? Why can't we just sit and tolerate some people asking questions? They weren't even being rude. They weren't being insightful. They were just asking questions like they do on every other campus. Did they have a permit? I believe not. They didn't have one, but if they got asked to leave, they would just leave, and they ended up leaving. But for it to get to this point where you can't even hear another argument, you just get so angry. You just resort to violence.
To your guys didn't make shit. You guys touch children. You guys fuck.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out, but I don't know. They need to.
And like the left is not, this is why they say the left is not tolerant. You can't even hear somebody out. You can't even sit here on campus and have a proper discussion without a mob forming and them getting kicked off. At what point are we going to stop letting our emotions override our lives? Like, truly, why not just hear somebody out? At the end of the day, if you are this convicted, you're this convicted that you're on the right side of history, you have all the facts, you have all the receipts, you know everything, why are you mad? If you know you're right, then mind. Stuff like this gives them attention. You think you're doing something noble by kicking off some people off campus for asking questions, but really you're proving a different point, and that is just, you just result to violence. You just result to you not being able to intellectually have a proper conversation and hear somebody out.
They need to get like a trespass, like penalty or something, because
Sending them off.
Tell him it's that boy. He thought he was gonna come up like Charlie.
Yes.
Man,
yes,
yes.
say good job, TSU.
Good job. Shout out to my school.
Okay. Some people say I'm a safe, self-hating black person. Some people say that could be racist sometimes, but what are we doing? This is supposed to be a noble HBCU. You can't handle two white boys with a MAGA hat asking questions? You want them gone that bad? You're only proving again how violent people can actually be. You can't hear somebody out. You get canceled for thinking differently. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering what would happen if I was there. Truly, because the way they were treating the black cops is actually out of pocket. It's actually insane. I have received an influx of emails from a lot of Turning Point chapters and independent political groups for me to come on campus and ask questions in its format or lead an event. And I would do so. Obviously, I would have the proper security and it would be indoors. But stuff like this makes me not even want to go to HBCU. Like, you can't even handle a question. And then you got that one boy in the beginning yelling, "We created y'all knowledge, y'all math, y'all science." I'm not even. Black people, we need to address the culture and get it together, because this ain't it.
RFK Jr. just said Tylenol and pregnancy can cause increased autism risk. No way, he's literally a quack. Oh, so you don't trust Harvard? This has nothing to do with Harvard. No, this actually has everything to do with Harvard, considering it was from 46 studies that they did conduct. They found that—
What happened to trust the science? All 2020, you were telling me, trust the science. The science is saying this. This college study this college study that. Okay, well, what about this science? The man didn't say, well, Trump's saying some wild stuff. He needs to take a nap. Trump needs to take a nap. I'm sorry, he does. But they're not saying completely that, oh, that Tylenol directly caused autism. No, it's just saying it could be linked to it. And knowing as a pregnant woman, they can't have sushi, cold cut meats. It's like, do we really know what's affecting the baby and what's not? Could there be a chance that Tylenol does something weird? Maybe it's literally a pill you take and the chemicals and it goes to your head and gets rid of a headache. So what if it's going to the head of the baby? We don't know these things for certain. So yeah, it could be. But at the end of the day, if you're pregnant, you need to be listening to your doctor and what they're saying.
Found that prenatal Tylenol can increase neurodevelopmental issues, including autism. 50% of pregnant women worldwide use Tylenol. Harvard says to limit it. Parents deserve to know the risk. I'm not taking advice anything that orange man says and that quack staff recommends. We trusted Biden on the health stuff, and he didn't recommend this, so we're good. Right, so you'll take an experimental schmack sheen without question. But when Harvard says Tylenol might be risky for your kid, suddenly it's politics. Tylenol makes a toxic chemical in your body. Normally your body cleanses it out, but some people's genes make it hard to get rid of. This means more toxins, more inflammation, and more risk for the baby. Well, science is complicated. Right, I forgot that you guys neither believe in science nor biology, my bad. Fun fact, science does not care about your politics. Other countries already limit Tylenol in pregnancy. And yes, the US has one of the highest rates of autism globally. Informed consent matters. Don't let politics blind you. Facts matter when it comes to your child's health.
I mean, that's it. That's literally it. And when it comes from my own opinion on this whole autism and Tylenol, again, listen to your doctor. And two, There are various things that are happening to our bodies at all times, all the different chemicals we're taking in. From the plastics that we deal with around our home, from people using the Glade. Please don't. I'm sorry. If you have a Glade plug-in, you need to throw it away. Those are my cancer plugs. I'm sorry. I go to any, there's a tangent. If I go to any Airbnb, I do a sweep. Like I'm the Secret Service. Get them fragrances out. I cannot stand them Glade plugins. No, the Febreze cans, no. Most candles, anything from Bath and Body Works, I just do not. It's just chemicals. It's chemicals. If you are someone that uses all these damn chemicals and you talking about your sinuses and your allergies always tripping up, hello, maybe get rid of these toxins and you'll be fine. I digress. Understanding that literally like I don't know the proper words. I'm not a scientist, so like stay with me. I have a headache. It's up here, you have a headache. You grab a pill, you take it, goes in your stomach, and it disperses. I'm thinking of the first thing that comes to my mind is Osmosis Jones, all them little characters in the blood cells. All I'm seeing is that, and then it goes up into your brain, and then it gets rid of it. Knowing that, could there be a chance it's like going to the baby's brain? Could there be a chance it's doing something else? Yeah. There could be. Nothing's definitive. Obviously, I've done a video on autism. I understand it's a thing. I understand some of it's genetic, but some of it could be caused, and it's okay to look into that. It's fine. And to the other point this woman was saying is just how you don't confuse politics and science. Like, just practice some damn discernment. Okay, so for 2020, this new virus, this new shot, you take it immediately and you trust everything they're saying off the bat, which we now know they were wrong. But RFK Jr. and Trump say, hey, women, you probably shouldn't take Tylenol while you're pregnant. And in response, several women, you go on TikTok and you film yourself downing a couple of Tylenol while pregnant. To prove a point, we need media literacy and we need church. People need to find God, truly.
I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons.
Just because you're committing a crime doesn't mean that you're a criminal. We're being gaslit. What's the definition of a criminal? It says a person who's committed a crime. This is what happens when we don't have definitions. We don't have a shared meaning and understanding of what words mean and what actions mean. Like illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, they're illegal. They broke the law. They're criminals. It's not inflammatory. A criminal is someone that broke the law. You break into this country, you broke the law. You commit a crime, you broke a law, you're a criminal. She's in office. I cannot stand her. I really can't. That's Representative Jasmine Crockett. Doing a crime don't make you a criminal. This video got me stressed the hell out.
There are real trans people on the planet that aren't doing this circus.
Valid.
This person with a mustache wants to be called a woman. Okay, well, in your circle of friends, they can call you that. But if you go to Walmart and you expect the cashier checking out your groceries to call you a she, you are very, very, very delusional.
Delusional, out of pocket. And I love when Jeffree Star calls this stuff out. Jeffree Star goes by he. That's a man who's never transitioned. He just loves long hair and wearing, I don't think he wears dresses. I know sometimes he wears heels. All the purses, loves pink, but he's a man. And he thinks all the TQ plus stuff is stupid. All the they, them, the pronouns, the people acting like this. He thinks it's all dumb. And I applaud that man. And let me know if you've been rocking with Jeffree Star since back in the day. Like Nicki Minaj feature. Like OG Jeffree Star. That's how deep I was in the whole Scene Queen era in the MySpace days. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was a coder. You would have thought I was a Secret Service agent the way I was up there, HTML, coding my little MySpace page, making like little things fall down, changing my songs. And when the Flash came out, like is it the Flash? I think it's like the Flash player. Is that what it was? Yeah, it's discontinued. Adobe Flash player. I had that MySpace page and it would load up and it was all dynamic and ooh, I miss the MySpace days. Those were the days. I do sound old now. Y'all with me though? There's somebody out there right now. It's us. We right here. We was up there just gone, editing the pictures, making things fall. Just, ooh, I miss the MySpace days. But yeah, Jeffree Star, it.
Welcome to America. Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Oh,
Kleenexes,
girl.
please. Uh-huh.
I've always been interested in history and the history of Black people. I took Afrocentric classes at UNL.
Why they got the shackles on this white woman? Welcome to America. We got to go back to that. Them look heavy.
Welcome to America.
Them shackles almost took her over. We are not in shackles. We're not. Y'all about to make Jamal rage. It's the end of the video. I'm about to crash out. I'm about to crash out. You know race. Race gets me. Race gets me. It makes me want to crash out. Like the people, the blacks that are just like, oh, we have it so bad in America. This is America. Here are some shackles. When the last time you been put some shackles? You aren't on no damn plantation. You probably the only, that's the first time I've seen shackles from a black man putting them on a white woman to represent what America's like. We are not in shackles. I get it's close generational. Like even like my grandparents, like we're on a sharecropping farm and like I get it, but when are we gonna let it go? It's 2025. At some point we have to let it go. That is how culture wars spiral out of control. They do. Because the misinformation, I hate that word. I do. But like genuine misinformation, acting all high and mighty. So about, I cannot believe Trump is doing this and he's saying these tweets about ABC. I don't like it, but I want the left to keep that same energy because y'all was just banning people all of 2020. Okay? There's too many people like amped up to like fight for their side, you know? There's too many people that just won't chill. They just won't chill. They just won't be real. They just won't relax. Yeah, Kimmel was horrible. I'm glad he got fired, but I'm also kind of not glad that it seemed like to be pressure from the government. I don't think the government should be doing that. But on the flip side, irrational Jamal, he's like, well, it's finally about time. They're feeling what we felt all these past years. But again, I don't want to fight fire with fire. That's not how I roll. Then we had the Tylenol situation. If you're pregnant, advise with your doctor. But like, don't get mad and hate Trump just for like pointing out Harvard studies. What are we doing here? And then the black mobs, black students on campus just resulting to violence. Is that all we're good for? Just acting uncouth and violent and rude and insightful and bigoted and just, damn. Again, I hate to be the one to say it, but it just makes people racist. It does. I didn't say that, but I did, because it's true. We are the result of our own demise, and things need to change, and I'm glad they are. I'm glad people like us are, beginning to speak up, be a little bit more vocal, and share our opinions with, some of our friends and family and just stand firm, at least standing firm in how we think. Because I do think it's ridiculous how some of these people are acting, but I am optimistic, but I can't sit here and say that there aren't some things that do make me concerned, It's just, when we go through the news like this, sometimes it does make me concerned where people's heads are at. But on the flip side, there's so many of you guys, there's so many people waking up, so many people leaving the left, and so many people seeking church. There's so many people stepping away from their toxic friends, toxic family. We are moving towards a society that is more positive, more fruitful, more collaborative, willing to have discussions, willing to debate, and I'm excited for that era. I am. Taking me out of it, not just the growth, which I'm incredibly thankful for you guys subscribing and sharing my content, but you all. I read the comments. I do. Ooh, I'm gonna get emotional. I do read the comments, and they be hitting me hard. The amount of you guys that are like that connect in the comment section, waking up, you know, it's awesome. It gives me so much hope. It lets me see that there's actual real change, and it makes me see there's actual real change and real growth in like America and all around the world. You guys are awesome. You really are. And I'm so proud of you guys for, you know, digesting the content that I create and having, you know, the more independent political stances that you have. I know some of you guys are more leaning left, some leaning right, but for the most part, this audience is very mentally strong. It's the biggest blessing, truly. Very humble, very grateful for you being here, spending your time with me, liking, sharing, subscribing. Can't thank you guys enough, truly. And I hope that you know that whatever you're going through in your life, it's called going through it for a reason. You're not stuck there. You will survive. I don't know what hell you got going on. Family drama, friend drama, work drama, whatever it may be, it will pass. And you will be okay. And you are way stronger than you even think you are. All that to say, I'll see you guys in my next video. A couple more videos coming out. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Deuces.